Welcome back to my classroom. This is Justin. Today I'm going to talk about Pearson chi-square test. This is one of the very frequently used tests when you have a data in a frequency pattern. That means number of people in under different category. Pearson has contributed a lot to the field of research in terms of statistical methods. Okay, anyway, we'll directly start with the situation. So this kind of analysis are done when you have a frequency data. So basically you have two types of the Pearson chi-square analysis. One is goodness of fit. This is the first pattern, and the second pattern is association or independence. So that means Pearson chi-square for association or independence, or Pearson chi-square method for goodness of fit. So these are two ways in which we calculate Pearson chi-square or generally chi-square test. So what does this association mean? So for example, you have a set of observations and you are trying to see whether these observations meet with a kind of distribution. For example, when I talk to a school in terms of their admission, so they are telling me that they don't really are not biased in terms of income of the family when they think about when they enroll the students to their school. And what if I'm not very sure about that, but I'm little doubtful about it. So what do? I do a research, right? So I would take a sample of 50 students from that particular student that school in the current academic year. So let us say 50, and assume that my scores that I got is observation that I have are the poor, low income group and middle income group and high income group. So out of 50, just imagine that I got to 10 and remaining 30 here. Okay, now so what they argue to me is they do not really biased about the income of the family, but when I took the 50 random sample, I got score like 10. Okay, I'm sorry, 30. Now these are my observation. In general, I will take the district, and I found out that around 40% of the people are, I'm just writing here, okay, 40% of the people are poor, 40% of the people are middle, and 20% of the people are they're really rich. So this is what I realized from the district population. So if this pattern is followed, for example, when they select this students, then they take admission to students, if this pattern is followed, how many students they would select? Just think in that line. Okay, now so out of 50, 40% will be 20 students here, and another 40 will be 20 students here, and 20% will be 10 students here out of 50. Okay, now this is the expected frequency if they follow a pattern like this. Okay, now this is the observed frequencies. Now what I'm going to understand this context is, or in terms of equation, how much deviation exists between O and E, observed frequency and expected frequency. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, I have a data, I'm trying to fit with the pattern that a distribution pattern or any kind of expectation that I had. Okay, now if it fit very well, we say that okay, it's the data is fitting with the distribution that I expected. Okay, now this is called as goodness of fit. So what I do, I will subtract this observation minus expectation. Okay, so the score will be minus 10 and minus 10 and my 20 like this, and I'll find a square of this data. So square like this, and I would do a divide by again E here. Okay, so I have scores like 100 divide by 20, 100 divide by 20, 400 divide by 10. See that? So these are my scores here, and I will find out a sum of it. That means add all this data. It would be around 25, 40. So you get together as 50. So this is the chi-square value 50. See that? So what this equation that I have written here, This is a general equation of the chi-square test. So chi-square value can be calculated based on that. Now, as usual, you have a chi-square distribution, which is almost same as a F distribution itself, the pattern, okay? That means when sample size is very small, it is positively skewed data. For example, it would look like this. Sample size is very small, and when sample size increase, it approximates towards a normal distribution. So I have a chi-square value here. Now I need a degree of freedom to decide what should be the pattern here. So how do you calculate degree of freedom? Number of categories -1. So always it's -1, right? So I have categories like 1, 2, 3 categories here, and -1. So I would say column. So column -1 or row -1, whatever pattern, okay? So how many categories you have? -1. So degree of freedom here will be 3 - 1 equal to 2, like that. So I'll think about a chi-square distribution with a 2 value, and I see what is the cutoff point 0.05, let us say somewhere here, and see where does this particular value stand there, okay? Now based on that, the area will be calculated, and I say what's the level of significance or chance for null hypothesis to be true. Usual level of significance concept. I think you should watch that video to understand what is the level of significance here. So this is the concept of goodness of fit. That means you have a pattern and you are trying to fit with other pattern. It can be any kind of pattern, okay? For example, I may argue for a uniform distribution. For let us say I say that number of accidents happen in a year, motor vehicle accidents happen in a year are uniformly distributed. That means I'll take accidents in each month, January, February, March, April, like that every month, and if it is uniformly distributed every month, you should get equal number of accidents. So that's a uniform pattern, right? So that's a kind of expectation or a pattern that I expect. So I'll see that whether these original observation is same as the expected frequency. So how much deviation exists between this data. So this is the goodness of it. Okay, now this goodness of it is very commonly used in the model fitness, okay, chi-square test model fitness kind of parameter. Now this is a very frequently used method in chi-square. You try to find out relationship between two variables. For example, in this context, so I found out a significant difference between all these three groups. So that means that they are not as expected, okay? Now the distribution is like this, so what expected was like this, so they are not exactly like as I expected. So let us say the school management say that, oh, you should not take a pattern like this. This is the entire district characteristics. This school belongs to the urban population, so urban population is different from rural population, something like that. So let us say, so now I need to know whether this the poor and the income level is related to urban and rural. I am going to do another research. So I have two variables here. One is income, other one is urban and rural. So I need to try to find out the relationship between that one. Okay, now please don't think about the logic of that particular research question. So my objective is to pose another research question. Okay, so I have a variable here. So let us say income, and this has low, middle and high, and I have a location. I'm just in a geographical location. So I have a category like rural and urban. Now this is called as a contingency table, okay? Okay, now we need to have a data here. So the random scores are 8, 2, 5 members here, 5 members here, 9, 21, like that. Okay, so you have rural, urban, so 10 here, 10, 5 here, 10, 21, 30. So this data is actually matching with this. You don't need to match, I'm just trying to see that. Okay, now what if you need to really find out the relationship between this variable and this variable? So the term generally we use is association. So we are trying to find out whether these variables are associated or these variables are independent of each other. Okay, so the equation is same, observation minus expectation divided by E, and you sum all the data. You have to square it and sum all the data, you will get the chi-square value, same equation itself. Okay, now what are the observation? These are the observation, 8, 5, 9, 2, 5, 21, these are the observation. Now, what is the expected frequency? So expected frequency can be calculated. It's a very easy method. So you have 10, 10, 30. This entire score is 50. This entire value is 22, 28, 50, 50, like that. Okay, now to calculate the expectation here, you need to think about the total score here. This side 10 into this value 22 divided by total score 50. Okay, now this is expected frequency. Now what would be the expected frequency 2? The 10 into 28 divided by 50. That means column total into row total divided by 50. So that score will be the expectation. Then you can easily go for observation minus expectation, square of it divided by the expectation. Add all the data, you will get a chi-square value here. See that? So now this is how generally, this is a very frequently used method in psychological research. Now one of the problem with this kind of method is when you have a 2 by 2 condition. For example, you have just two categories here. So income, male, female, and rural cannot be income, right? Sex, male, female, rural, and urban. So this is my new condition. Okay, so this means it's a 2 by 2 condition. 2 here, 2 here. So in this context, we use a kind of correction method. It's called as AIDS correction. So AIDS correction, the full term is AIDS continuity correction. Why it's a continuity correction? When you take a binomial data like this, that means you have only two options here, frequency data and this pattern, and you are trying to convert this data to a chi-square distribution which is continuous in nature. So there would be a continuity problem in this context. So you are trying to approximate this frequency data, 2 by 2 frequency data, binomial data to a continuous data. So there could be a problem for that. So AIDS proposed a method to make it more appropriate, to get a little more rigid results. Okay, so that equation is the same usual chi-square equation itself, but it's a small change in that one. That means chi-square is equal to the usual pattern sum of observation minus expectation, okay, now minus 0.05, okay, and square this data divided by E. So a small pattern here, minus 0.5, will be subtracted in each data, then square it divided by E. So many researchers say that this is a little strict, very rigid kind of correction. You don't need to do that one. So and we have a kind of consensus about this part when the sample size is little smaller. So originally not a sample size, when the expectation score, this expectation score is smaller than 5, then and you have a 2 by 2 condition. So remember that you have a 2 by 2 condition, and you have the value, that expectation frequency of any of the cell is lesser than 5, then you need to go for a AIDS correction. Otherwise you really don't need to go for a AIDS correction here. Now how do you calculate the degree of freedom in this context? So chi-square can be calculated very easily. Now degree of freedom is number of rows or columns minus 1 into the other part. For example, the degree of freedom in this context will be R minus 1, number of rows minus 1 into number of column minus 1. That means you have row 1, 2, 3 rows. So it's 3 minus 1 into 1, 2, 2 minus 1. So just multiply it, you will get the answer. Now this few years back, this was one of the very frequently used question in NET exam, and that means calculate the degree of freedom of chi-square. Typically this one. So almost I think 3-4 years every time they used to ask the same question itself. Last few years I have not seen a question that pattern. Maybe they may ask again. So calculation of the degree of freedom for chi-square test, one of the very frequently asked question. I guess nothing more has to be added to this condition. So if you have any doubts, let me know. You can text us a comment here. So I'll give you some reply. I'll try my best to make you understand the concept. Okay, now bye from my classroom. Bye.